Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hello, and welcome back to House of Ideas. I am your host, Devin, and today I am joined with... Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Smah Travia John from the Gamma Analysis Podcast. And we're going to be talking about the character that was the inspiration for my podcast, the Hulk.
Yes, we're going to be talking about the Hulk, aka Dr. Robert Bruce Banner, or more known as just Bruce Banner. Before we get into it, if you look in the description below, you'll see a link to a link tree that leads to all the podcasts in the Neonic Void Productions. For Spookocalypse, Tea of the Gods, Voidonica, House of Ideas, as well as, am I forgetting a podcast? Book Watchers, duh. The YouTube link and links to the Twitters, because I'm not going to call it by that stupid-ass name, are also in the description below as well if you care to follow us, as well as information to go follow John here and go listen to his podcast as well. All that information will be in the description below. Now, we're kind of doing this pre-production wise, we're kind of doing this out of weird order because we already recorded an episode with somebody else, but this episode's going to come out before that one. So, I could have lied, but you know what? Context is key. So, he's already been on this podcast once before, but y'all won't know it because this is the first episode will technically be on it. So, the next episode after the Hulk will pop up in a couple weeks, but nonetheless, today we're talking about Bruce Banner. A little background on his creation as far as the people behind it. Obviously, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Mm-hmm. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. His first appearance was in The Incredible Hulk #1, which was released March in 1962.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I believe it was May of 1962.
May?
Yes, the same month we are recording this.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Duh. I feel dumb. You're right. It's May.
It's alright.
It's the whole release date versus the cover date thing.
Yeah, they're really weird. I've always found it strange that there's always two different dates for when comics come out.
Yeah, it's the weird release date, cover date, whatever. So yes, we are in it's been 62 years now?
Yeah, I believe so.
62 years since the creation of the Hulk. So the Hulk has been around for a hot ass minute. And like every other episode of the House of Ideas, I am not going to do a deep dive of every single appearance of Bruce Banner, because let me tell you, we'll be here all day.
Yeah.
There are podcasts and YouTube series that do that enough for everybody. I'm not going to bore you all with a lot of these stories, because let me tell you, Bruce Banner Hulk has some iconic stories, but then there's a lot of stuff that's just unknown, and I don't feel like having to sit there and read 60 plus years of comics. No.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of kill the vibe, because I want this to be more lighthearted and have this be more of an introduction to said character, like I do with previous episodes. So, the Hulk. Actually, tell us a little bit about yourself. This is technically the first episode that you're going to be on as far as uploading. What got you loving Hulk?
Well, so I had always enjoyed Hulk since I was a kid. As a kid, it was mainly because he's big and green and he smashes stuff. But as I grew older, particularly within the last like 5 years or so, I have realized there is a deeper connection between me and Hulk. And thing is, this is a very lighthearted podcast, so I don't want to get too into it. But I'll just say that there is a lot of childhood similarities between what he went through and what I went through as a kid. And I've also over the years I've had some anger issues, so it's felt like a character that I just really relate to, and I've just found so much love for the character as I understood that more, and I've kept reading more about him past 5 or so years.
Okay. Love that. All right. So where would you like to start on? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull it over to you. Tell us about Bruce Banner's origin and how he became the Hulk.
So his origin took place during the Cold War, and he was working for the government on the Gamma Bomb, which was meant to be a weapon and to use against Russians.
Yeah.
And basically, one day, this idiot kid, Rick Jones, drove into the blast zone where they were testing the Gamma Bomb, and so Bruce had to go out there and save him. Unbeknownst to Bruce at the time, his assistant was secretly working for Russia. His name was Igor, Igor turned on the Gamma Bomb to try to kill Bruce Banner, and it ended up not killing Bruce Banner, but instead turned him into the Hulk, the creature we know today. Though he did not look quite like he does today. He did not have the iconic green skin in his first issue. He was gray in his first issue, and they changed it because they found that there was a problem with their printers. So if they used the gray color, every single panel would look like he had a different skin color. So they changed it to green, and I honestly think that was probably the best choice in the history of Hulk that they did, because I don't think that the character could have became as popular as it's become if they didn't have that one very unique thing of him having green skin.
Yeah. Now, they have kept around the Grey Hulk as a alternate form of the Hulk. So the Grey Hulk does pop up a lot more than a lot throughout the years, 60 plus years of publication for the Hulk. So this is just one of the many little iterations that the Hulk can take. I think later on they used the Grey Hulk as the Hulk that's like the combination of Hulk and Bruce. So he has the intelligence of Bruce, but like he looks like the Hulk.
I think they did that at one point. There was also another point where that version was green, but he wears a different outfit. And my absolute favorite look for Hulk is with that mixture of Hulk and Bruce. Because there's this version where he has these as this giant and sci-fi gun on, and he also but he's also wearing bunny slippers. Like, that's hilarious to me.
Hey, when you're taking down bad guys, you gotta be comfy.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wear them bunny slippers. Wear them.
I wish that I could find bunny slippers that were my size, because that is a look that I would love to cosplay at some point in my life.
That would be funny.
Oh yeah. The Grey Hulk, though, he's both, I think, been used as the mix of them, but he's also been used as a different version of the character called Joe Fixit, which basically has this like 1940s mafioso bodyguard kind of look, which is kind of cool as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. So that is Bruce Banner's origin, how he turned into the Hulk. What are some of your favorite storylines? Because, I mean, as we know, that the Hulk is one of the... he's joined the members of the... He's crossed over with Fantastic Four. He's done... Of course, he was with the Avengers. He was one of the... I want to say he was one of the original. He was one of the original.
Yes, he was one of the founding members of the Hulk, of the Avengers, and that was literally only a year after his comic debut that they put him on the team. But pretty quickly, he left the team because they didn't agree on things.
Yeah, I'm remembering that now. Yeah. Because sometimes it's just weird, because like I'm obviously thinking with the mind of the MCU that he was a founding member, because I know certain people were not in the MCU version, like Wasp was a founding member, and she wasn't in the a founding member of the MCU's Avengers. So now I'm just like, okay, I have to turn to comic book brain. So he joined the Avengers. He left not too long after. What storylines do you like of the Hulk? What are some of the more interesting ones to you, or fun ones to you?
I think my favorite arc for the Hulk actually is his origin story. I think it's both a great story, but also I just love that this very retro ridiculousness that is in it that you don't get out of comics today. There's something just really special about that to me, and because of that reason, it's always saddened me that we've never gotten a live action actual adaptation of his origin, keeping in the 1960s, keeping that retro ridiculousness feel. I think it would be that's something that I want to see them do as a film set in another universe. I think it would be so much fun to watching and making sure that it has the exact feel of those original comics. Like, one of the things I absolutely love that in his original comic run, which is only 6 issues, is the fact that General Ross made a missile to fight Hulk with that is shaped like Hulk. It's that ridiculous that I'm just like, that is amazing. And you would not be able to see that today.
Yeah, that's fair.
And some other like storylines that I just like most people like is like the Planet Hulk and World War Hulk storyline. I mentioned before we were recording that I read this tie-in comic for the current Hulk run called Immortal Hulk Great Power, where he teams up with Spider-Man while Spider-Man is just like he is basically being a babysitter for Hulk and Banner as they're on this island, and you get this really great a heartfelt moment where Hulk recognizes Spider-Man as Peter Parker, even though at this time within the comics, nobody is supposed to know who Peter Parker is. I just think I really enjoyed that. Do you have any favorite storylines?
I am a fan of the World War Hulk, Planet Hulk and World War Hulk storylines. More so the World War Hulk, that how he just comes back and starts wreaking just havoc on everybody, hunting down all the ones who destroyed the world he got. I can't even think of the world's name. The world he got, Scar, that he got sent to, Planet Scar, and he just beat the shit out of every single one of them like if they were nothing. And at that point, was the Hulk was in complete control. Banner hasn't come out for a hot minute. There's that one. Now he's not really that big in the story. He's just a pivotal turning point of that story. As much as people give Civil War II a bunch of shit, I really like that story. I find it so like dumb, but like, girl, some of them have points. I mean, Captain Marvel was in the wrong. Miss Carol, I love you, girl, but you were in the wrong, but it's still entertaining. And one of the big things of that story was the Inhuman that could potentially see the future, saw Bruce Banner turning back into the Hulk. Now, at this point, Banner hasn't been the Hulk for a minute. And because he supposedly found a quote-unquote cure for the Hulk, and he was as Banner. Like, he hasn't turned into the Hulk in forever. Or not in forever, but like a good minute. And the Inhuman saw the Hulk come back, and he's murdering everybody. And Carol obviously jumps the gun on this before it happens, and she finds Banner, and she confronts him to try to bring him in before he loses his temper and goes green. And they get into an argument, and right before he raises his voice, he gets shot in the face by Hawkeye. Because Hawkeye swears that he was going to turn green. Because he has arrows made by Banner to kill him on sight if anything were to occur. Because if you kill Banner before he turns into the Hulk, because if you wait till he turns into the Hulk and then kill him, it's going to be nearly impossible to kill him because it's the Hulk.
Yeah.
But he made these specific arrows to kill Banner so the Hulk won't come back. And he took a shot. And he shot him right in the face with an arrow, killing him. And everyone in the course is freaking out like, oh shit, he wasn't turning into the Hulk. And the Hawkeye's like, no, I saw him start to turn green. Or, oh, no, he was getting angry. And it's just, again, he wasn't in that story for very long, but girl, let me tell you, I love that story. And I love how it influenced She-Hulk from that point when she found out her cousin died. And from there, that's when she became like the savage She-Hulk, and she became more of a Hulk-like Hulk than the regular She-Hulk that we know. Then became like a representation of PTSD and all of that for She-Hulk, which we'll get into in another future episode on She-Hulk. But I love how that I just like that. I find it interesting and entertaining, and how like, oh my god, was he actually going to turn? into the Hulk? Or did they just kill him for no damn reason? And it's kind of one of the things that Civil War II is all about. It's like, do they actually prevent these events from happening? Or do they just arrest and or kill people just because there's a hunch? Is this guy right? But again, nonetheless, it's Ulysses, the Inhuman, whatever. Now, as far as all the other Hulk storylines, I really do like the current one, but that's just me. I love the horror twist on it, and how it ties back to the green room, and how it's weird. But I don't want to get into it too much because I'm still a few issues behind on it. I'm not completely caught up, but it's some good shit. Like, I love the ooky spooky vibe of it, and how Hulk is technically, or so says at the moment, the child of the mother of monsters, and how they're trying to kill him and all this other shit. And it's what I want in a Hulk comic. I like the Hulk stories that shows him more as kind of a monster in a way. It's kind of more body horror than anything, even though we all know Hulk is a hero at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But he comes and goes as like a hero, anti-hero, just a violent monster. He kind of just his flow changes throughout the years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought of another one-off comic that I really enjoyed from Hulk, which is I think goes from the 80s. I'm not sure what the particular issue number is, but it was a Christmas special comic where Hulk was facing off against Rhino from the Spider-Man comics, and Rhino wears a Santa Claus suit. And it's just such a fun read. Oh my god,
yeah. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? So some of the other storylines. We got. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much. Again, there's 60 plus years of this Green Man. So it's like, where do we even begin? I guess we can go into Bruce's childhood as he was being raised. So Bruce Banner is, of course, a child of Dr. Brian Banner, a atomic physicist, and of course his mother's name is Rebecca. Although Rebecca, his mother loved him. Well, sorry, I lost train of thought. While his mother loved him dearly, his father did not like Bruce. He had a very difficult childhood. Brian, or Mr. Banner, was driven insane for jealousy between his child and his wife. And from there, his father believed that his radiation work had affected his DNA and has, of course, given him a mutant son. So he thought Banner, or Bruce, was born as a mutant because of the radiation and the work that he has been obviously working on. Obviously, that was not the case. His father then, well, I'm not going to get too much into that part of it, but their relationship was not great at all. Obviously, there is some scars of his childhood, and very, it kind of gives you a look on why Banner is the way he is, in a way, because of the mistreatment from his father. From there, of course, he had Jennifer Walters, his cousin, around a lot while growing up as well. And he would spend summers with her in the library reading for hours as kids. And then, of course, they both lose themselves in books, which also kind of shows because Bruce ended up becoming a scientist and Jennifer became a lawyer. So that kind of reflects on their time spent together in the library, reading books for hours and hours while they were kids. Bruce's life then kind of reached a point where his father murdered his mother, and then he was placed in a mental hospital. After that, Bruce was then raised by his aunt, aka his father's sister, Susan Banner, who took care of Bruce, and she kind of understood what the pain and the rage that he had while he was growing up from the mistreatment and the abuse. Susan raised Bruce the best she could with love and affection, treating him like that's one of her kids. Which, God love her. We love an aunt to step in and play the good parent. We love that. Okay. Susan never wanted to obviously step into her brother's problems after what happened between them, that family unit, and of course the death of his mother. Bruce grew up very highly withdrawn and very closed off from everybody, which, I mean, with what happened to him growing up, that's not surprising, because why would you want to trust anybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
From there, that's when he discovered that he was very gifted. In fact, some would call Bruce a child prodigy. This is when Bruce started to develop DID, or dissociative identity disorder, which would go undiagnosed for many years, partly due to the fact of his DD was suppressed. Mm-hmm. So with Bruce, some of the stories go into his DID and how, and I think in a way that's kind of a interesting, I don't want to say interesting thing to give to a character, because it kind of, I mean, yeah, I guess I would say it's a very interesting thing to give to a character, because it kind of shows you what people with that live with every day of their lives, and how that affects them as well as people around them. I find it very interesting that they explored that a little bit with Bruce.
Mm-hmm. I love about that is they really do make a point to say in the Hulk comics that each of these different people inside them, they are their own people. Yeah. They aren't just as a issue that Bruce has. They're their own people, and that is what scientifically is believed in real life for people with DID, and they make a point to say that that all of these different people that live within this one body, they all matter. They are, and it's not just Bruce who matters.
Yeah. So from there, Bruce back in his origin story, when he started developing started developing DID, Bruce would then start talking to an imaginary friend he called Hulk. As a way to cope with everything that happened to him, as well as his mother's death and his loneliness, he began to mutter himself and had conversations with his imaginary friend, quote unquote. His aunt took him to different mental health professionals who told her that there was He was nothing more than merely coping with everything that happened. And eventually it would go away. Unfortunately, it did not go away. And Bruce had this imaginary friend, Hulk, for many, 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 many years. Bruce also began working on explosives. I mean, this kind of goes into his origin story. Started working on explosives in an abandoned warehouse as the Hulk suggested that they blow up the school as a means of venting his frustrations, which it really adds to the layer of like this. If the Hulk as the Green Hulk started as this imaginary friend. Because this is kind of painting the picture that Hulk is with the radiation and from his DID formed the Hulk. And with the radiation, the gamma radiation that he succumbed to and made him into the Hulk, with all this backstory, it kind of shows that maybe the Hulk is another side of Banner, that imaginary friend he talked to for many years. That rage side of Banner. Now, this is in no way to depict that people with DID are harmful or violent in any way, because majority of the time, people who are mentally ill like that, no. Yeah, people live every day of their lives with DID, anxiety, depression, without wanting to go do harm to other people. So I can see where this storyline would also have harm attached to it, with people in the real world dealing with DID, as well as other mental issues, mental problems. So I can kind of see where how this could be a issue, and I wondering why. I mean, I know the reason why they gave him DID is to kind of explain the split personality and those issues with the Hulk, but I kind of see that as I personally would see that as a problem, because again, it kind of goes against the whole stereotype of people who are mentally ill are violent and harmful to themselves and others, which is not the case.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I think though, if anything, it is bringing up the fact that people will think that someone with DID is going to be violent, but then subverts that idea by the fact that Hulk is not just an inherently violent character.
No, of course not.
He is violent when he feels he needs to protect someone, and that's a very different thing. And in reality, he's really a giant teddy bear, and that's I think that that's probably what's helped it, so that there's not people having issue with it, because it's, if anything, showing people that no, this is not just a violent person just because he has DID. This is Hulk. It's not meant to just be this violent character, and your people's ideas that people with DID are violent are just simply wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you really do think about it, everything he does when it comes to the quote-unquote monster that we see the Hulk is usually in response to something. Like World War Hulk. He came back and acted the way he did because his world, they actually found a place to call home, was demolished by a bomb that was set there on the ship because of the Illuminati. So in response, obviously he took his revenge. But it's a response rather than a action portrayed from the Hulk. So I can see your point.
Mm-hmm.
But all that kind of leads into like him working with the military, working for the gamma radiation, atomic bomb, and then of course the Hulk was born, or the imaginary friend, quote unquote, got a form for himself. There are also, oh gosh, what's your favorite Hulk out of the like Bruce Banner Hulks? Like there's the Gray Hulk, there's regular Hulk, there's the oh my god, I can't think of the others. There's a few others.
I think my just regular Hulk is my favorite just because I love the idea of a character who seems like a monster, but when you get to know him, he's just a giant teddy bear. I've always loved that concept for a character. So just a regular Hulk is my favorite.
Okay, I agree because the Hulk goes through a lot of ups and downs. But at the end of the day, Hulk does, he is a big teddy bear, as you said.
Yeah.
If he's not a big teddy bear, it's because somebody pissed him off, or he doesn't see, or he doesn't think that people see him for what his worth is, and just see him as a monster. So he's like, oh, cool. If I'm a monster, I'm going to give you a fucking monster. Otherwise, yeah, he's not really that much of a villain per se, because the only time he ever goes against heroes that I can think of is the World War Hulk storyline, where he goes around beating the shit out of the Illuminati. Other than that, it's pretty much just the Hulk being on the side of good, outside of the fact that he fights with himself. Because Bruce and Hulk always are at odds with each other, for one reason or another, because Bruce sees him as a monster rather than embracing the Hulk.
Yeah.
And he'd rather just put him away in a little box, which is kind of what happened with the Civil War too, is they kind of just put the Hulk in a box, and because he didn't want to deal with that anymore. When in reality, he should probably, it's part of him.
Yeah, that's the one thing throughout the 60 years of Hulk's comics and the adaptations that come out that I've always taken a bit of an issue with, which is that Banner can't seem to ever understand the fact that Hulk is a hero. He is his own person. He's not someone you can just cure away.
Yeah.
But it makes some sense that Bruce does act like that because he does have some narcissistic tendencies. I just think that there needs to be more character development and any kind of adaptation or in the comics where towards Banner starting to realize the fact that this isn't a problem. This is a good guy, and he is an actual person. So it's he's not someone you can just act like is a problem or a tool.
Yeah. So, to get into the weirder side of the Hulk, because the Hulk is more than just a green humanoid giant powered by gamma radiation. The Hulk is a result of, so this is more backstory kind of, and it kind of in an odd way explains the whole why Banner became the Hulk. So, paint the picture. Bruce is making the gamma bomb. It goes off. kills him. He comes back as the Hulk. Why? Because of the green door. What is the green door? You're asking, dear viewer. Oh my God, what is that? So the green door is a metaphysical barrier that connects the place below it, which is AKA the place below is the bottom layer of the multiverse. It's even deeper than hell. We're getting into some cosmic Marvel stuff here. So you got the multiverse, and you got the lowest point of the multiverse. That is the place below. It is the home of the... Actually, I don't know if it's the home of him. Actually, it might be. The one below all. So the one below all is obviously the opposite of the one above all.
Makes sense.
So the one, to kind of give that into perspective, let me see if I can actually pull up because I want to give you a proper description of him. So the one below all is a being, is the dark side and the part of the cosmic being known as the one above all, who is obviously the one above all, supreme ruler of the multiverse and the supreme embodiment of creation and compassion, which would make obviously the one below all the ultimate personification of destruction and hate, the opposite. This is where we also get into the mother of monsters, or the mother of horrors. It's a being who wasn't created by the one above all, but by herself, hid him from it. She hid him. So I guess the mother of horrors is also like in relation to the one below all. Hid him on Earth, blah blah blah. But that's the one above. That's the one below all. The one below all is the personification of hate and destruction. Now, when Banner set off the bomb, it opened up the green door. And inside the green door, the souls of the Gamma mutants cross into the below place through the green door. These mutants, spirit souls, these mutants are able to return, turning to life when the green door manifests for them. Through means of cosmic weird shit. So you got cosmic weird shit. So from that, when Bruce set off the bomb, it opened the door, and that's what caused Bruce died, obviously, but then he was reincarnated, and that's what transformed him into the Hulk, was from the power in the Gamma souls of the Gamma mutants and the radiation from the green door. So the Hulk has a connection to the green door, as well as majority of the other Hulks do as well, because the green door is pivotal to their return. So that's why you can't really kill the Hulk, because he'll just come back because the green door. I know it's weird. It's one of the weirder things about the Hulk. Now, this was the Green Door concept was created back in 2018 with the Avengers it was Al Ewing and Joe Burnett were the ones who created the concept of the Green Door. And I love Al Ewing so much. From there, that's apparently where his father's soul is. And it is, I guess, kind of a dark story of that, of like when Hulk finally does discover the Green Door and discovers that the below place and takes on the one below all, and he ends up taking ownership of the door because the Hulks all take ownership of the door from the one below all. So there's you all should read it. It's great. I'm not going to go too much into it because, again, it gets a little convoluted. It gets a little weird. But it's a very interesting concept on the Green Door and how it relates to the Hulk and the other Hulks and how it created the Hulk.
I would want to warn anyone who does want to get into reading these new Hulk runs. If you have trouble with body horror, there is body horror in these books.
Oh, there most certainly is, and I am loving it. The current run of I think it's the Immortal Hulk. It's so body horror. I'm living. Again, like I said before, I need to catch up, but the Green Door kind of plays a part in that, as well as the Mother of Monsters. And I'm speculating the One Below All and all that shit. So if you like body horror and you like stuff on more of the spooky side, the current run of the Hulk, as well as the last couple in general, kind of get into more of the ooky spooky body horror, multiverse hell of the creepy vibes of the Marvel Universe through the Hulk. Which is rather interesting on how they portray all that. Because we are going to talk about the MCU interpretation of the Hulk, but are there any other storylines or any other facts and stuff you like about the Hulk that you want to get into before we get into the MCU?
Not really. One thing some things I did learn from reading in the first 6 years Hulk book that I have that I thought were cool. During the AIDS epidemic, they had the character of Betty Ross working at a suicide hotline, and she dispelled myths about AIDS, and I think that's a really cool thing that they did. And also something that I just think is a fun concept is there's a comic issue where during a therapy session with Doc Samson, and they go inside of Bruce Banner's mind and make it be a group therapy session where all of the different and Hulks are there and Bruce is there, and they're trying to work out the differences is through therapy, and I just love that concept so much.
Agreed. I love when Marvel does stuff like that. Because it shows, I mean, obviously, they understand their audience. Obviously.
It kind of surprises me that, because I believe this was this comic was back in the 90s or something, and therapy becoming a big thing had not happened yet at that point. And so that's a really cool thing, because we absolutely need to push forward the idea of getting therapy, and when there wasn't many people showing how therapy can be a good thing back then, it's good that at least comics were trying to show that.
Yeah, agreed. It's something that needs to be talked about. And obviously they have characters who have mental health issues. I mean, obviously. We're talking about one of them. But there are many others. Like, again, She-Hulk goes through a whole PTSD moment in her stories. And there are other characters that have anxiety, depression. Like, you kind of see it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Tony Stark has a whole storyline where he is depressed and he's suffering from alcoholism, and he gets himself out of that. Marvel.
The character. I was just gonna say the character of Deadpool is constantly depressed.
Yeah. I love how they incorporate that into these characters to kind of give them more of a humanizing approach, make them more human-like.
It reminds me of of this quote from Stan Lee that I will always love, and where he said that he always wanted his stories to be a reflection of the world right outside our window. And things like this really drive that home.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if there are no other storylines or stuff you want to talk about the Hulk, again, this is not a comprehensive episode on the history of the Hulk, because I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
But it's just more of a laid-back conversation to hopefully get you viewers or listeners into reading Hulk comics. Now, let's talk about the Hulk as far as the movieverse.
All right.
Okay. What were your thoughts, actually, on the old school Hulk series? I kind of dug it. The old school Hulk series.
You're talking about the Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby one?
Yes.
I love it as a TV show. I don't love it as an adaptation of Hulk.
That's fair.
I think it really tries to stray away from the comics, which literally the creator of it said he didn't want this to be anything like the comics. That annoyed me, annoys me about it, and I also just find the show. Though I enjoy the idea of them going to different and locations every episode, so we can see Hulk and Banner in different scenarios. I think it's a really fun concept. But but big thing I really dislike about it is it feels so repetitive. Because like every episode or every few episodes they'll be saying that, oh, this will help me get closer to a cure. Or get closer to being better, and then he just stops doing the thing after that episode and forgets about it. And also the fact that Hulk keeps saving people, and people bring it up to David how Hulk saved them, but David can't seem to understand this idea that Hulk is a hero. He's not saying that you need to cure.
Yeah.
It just feels so repetitive to me that it just keeps, and like there's no character development whatsoever for the character of David Banner.
Okay, that's fair. It's a fair assessment.
But I enjoy it as a TV show, though.
Yeah, no, it's campy as hell, and
oh yeah,
I think it's ridiculous in like the best way possible. Personally, it's a fun series.
My favorite moments in it are the cute Hulk moments. It's things like him simply opening up a can of soda, or him holding a bunny and petting it. It's just so much fun to see soft Hulk moments. You don't get a lot of those. Whether it's in comics or movies or whatever, it's so nice when you get a soft Hulk moment.
Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts on is it 2004? The 2003.
2003 Hulk.
I was close.
I really like it for the most part. And it does like it gets into a lot of comic book stuff with his father and stuff like that. Yeah. My main issue with it is I don't like the ending. It feels cut off. It doesn't feel like it's a full story.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, overall, I really don't like the 2003 one that much. I think it's kind of, no. The ending especially is just like, really? Really? The next one was what? That was 2008
with the Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
I like it, but I don't love it. it's too serious for my taste, Ace, and that's but I like a lot of the moments when Hulk is out. I think like the fight scenes, both at at Culver University and in Harlem at the end, and are a lot of fun to watch. And I think it's a decent story.
Yeah. This one was a little better. I really don't like Edward Norton as Bruce, though.
Yeah, Edward Norton is a really weird choice for Bruce Banner.
And I'm glad they recasted him.
Oh yeah. Honestly, Mark Ruffalo is my favorite version of Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo is so good as the Hulk. And it's so seamless when they bring him in as the Hulk for the Avengers. Because Banner was missing for so long, and you almost I think they kind of did it on purpose. You kind of forget that the Incredible Hulk had a movie in 2008. You kind of forget about it because not a lot of people saw it. I didn't see it in theaters. I just thought it went from Iron Man to Thor. I didn't see Incredible Hulk until much later. But
I feel like part of what made it not be viewed by very many people is I feel like it was overshadowed by Iron Man because they released it like a month later.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that was a big thing that I had heard it. And also it didn't have great reviews. So so between those two things, I think it really just destroyed the film. But which is crazy to me because Hulk is absolutely one of the most popular characters that Marvel has. You would think his movie would do really well.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, if it came out today, it probably would do a lot better today.
Yeah, definitely.
But after 2008, Hulk has not gotten a movie since, and that is mostly because the whole movie rights. Because Marvel and Disney didn't have the rights to a bunch of characters from the Marvel comics, because this was during the time period, like right after the 90s and 80s, where Marvel was selling off a bunch of their properties or selling off the movie rights. They basically keep afloat. That's why we have Sony with Spider-Man, and the Hulk was with, at the time, Universal Pictures. And the whole deal was the Hulk couldn't have its own movie unless it was distributed by Universal Pictures. And Marvel's like, yeah, no, we're not playing that fucking game. Fuck that. So the Hulk was more of a additional character to a movie rather than having his own movie for most of the Avengers as well as Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Instead of having his own series of films, which, I mean, it's a shame, but I mean, Disney and Marvel, or Paramount Marvel / Disney Marvel didn't really want to play ball with Universal, which is fair. It took them quite a while to get the rights to get the rights to the Hulk and everything Hulk related, like She-Hulk and all that stuff. They also got Namor from Universal Studios or Universal Pictures because they had Namor too for whatever reason. I think the only property that Disney Marvel does not technically own right now, as far as movie rights, is Spider-Man, and that is because of the whole convoluted mess of Sony and Spider-Man. Because Sony actually owns part of the character itself, not just the movie rights, unlike the others, like Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four. Disney can't go out and just buy Sony, like they did with Fox, to get the rights back that way.
Sadly, I imagine if they tried doing that, even though a lot of fans would be happy because we don't trust Sony with Spider-Man. The U.S. government would not be happy with them because they already had trouble with getting Fox because of the possibility of a monopoly. Even though I don't think that's actually going to give them a monopoly, but they had enough trouble after that. I don't think they're going to be taking a chance on another studio for a long time.
Exactly. I think eventually Disney's going to just buy out the rights with a large sum of money eventually, because I'm sure
Probably.
this tug of war game is going to eventually end, and Marvel's going to win and get Spider-Man back for in-house. But nonetheless, it's not a Spider-Man episode. That's a future episode for a future day. That has not been recorded yet. I'm waiting to find a good guest for that. But nonetheless, so the Hulk. Hulk is become a side character for the majority of the movies he is in, never getting his own movie or series, even to this day. He's obviously in the Avengers films, and I love him in the Avengers films. I love him in the first Avengers, especially. Like, they really add a lot of characterization to the Hulk and add more of a comedic, but a comedic approach, but also there's a level of seriousness to it because it's the Hulk, and you can't fuck around with the Hulk.
How I like to describe the difference between Mark Ruffalo's Hulk and Edward Norton's Hulk is Mark Ruffalo's Hulk actually feels like a character versus Edward Norton's Hulk literally just feels like he's a monster. And that's not what I want out of Hulk.
Yeah. Agreed. I love the storyline that Bruce went through with the MCU and how he didn't want the Hulk, and then obviously stuff changed, and he's like, you know what? We're in this together, my dude. We gotta work together on this shit. What's your okay? What is your opinion on the whole lullaby? Because I find that to be so freaking weird.
It's very weird. I don't really have much an opinion on the lullaby. I just think that was a sign that Josh Whedon wanted to add to a Drawtron on. It just doesn't matter too much to me, but I'm not for it or against it. Really, it's just like it's one of the random things that have happened. I've been just like there's random things that have happened to Hulk in the comics.
That is true. I just find it weird, like why? And they never address it. And I love how in She-Hulk they talk about it. They talk about that weird moment. Oh, the lullaby. We don't talk about that. Like, I love how they basically just address it. How weird it is.
Yeah, he's Bruce says as in She-Hulk. I don't really have a good explanation for that.
Is AKA Kevin Feige? Yeah, I don't know either, bro.
Oh man. Oh. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is how I actually kind of like the this arc that they're doing of having him quote unquote Professor Hulk. I think it's actually a lot of fun, and it though I rather the Savage Hulk, but I think this is just an arc. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I think a lot of fans don't seem to realize is this is not actually a merge of Bruce and Hulk's personalities. This is just Bruce taking over Hulk's body, which is just another example of him putting Hulk into a box. He stole the Hulk's body, and I think that the rumored upcoming in World War Hulk film, I think will be about Hulk finally breaking free, and he'll be madder than he's ever been before. Because Banner not only is not letting him come out, but he's stealing his body.
Yeah.
What do you think of the current arc that they're doing with of this supposed mixture of the two?
I kind of like it in the sense of how they're working together rather than against each other. Because the Hulk we see currently is basically, quote unquote, the Gray Hulk, or one of the interpretations of the Gray Hulk where it's a mix of the two. Because Bruce Banner is in control, but I think, honestly, to a point. Because the Hulk is still there. Like, he has his Hulk moments. But for the most part, it's Bruce the will.
You can tell, particularly like with some moments during that first episode of She-Hulk, that Hulk is still in there, as like there are moments where he gets a little angry, and you see a little bit of the poutiness of the actual Hulk, and it's and that's a big part why I think it is Bruce trying to lock Hulk away, but he's told everyone that is them mixed together, and it's but in reality it's not odd, but he doesn't want people to know that.
That'd be an interesting idea to explore, because I know there's a rumor going around that they're working on a Hulk-centered project, and I hope they actually are, because I would love to see Hulk have his own movie this time around.
I feel like it has to be real, because there's been so many rumors over the past few years about it. They even mentioned during the She-Hulk finale that the idea of possibly saving the reveal of Scar to for the movie.
Yes.
They didn't end up doing that, which I think was a very intentional thing, and to show. It's one of the big things that people whine about with the finale is that Jennifer Walters just has control over everything, and I think that Kevin particularly had them introduce Scar here to make it clear to Jen, I'm still in control. You're not in control here.
That is true, yeah. Because even Jennifer has her moments of losing control.
Now, I want to ask what you think of this pitch that I have, where I think I want them to go for Hawk, and honestly, what I think they possibly would be doing. I think it's very much going to surround on the fact that Scar is here now, and I think that because they did finally bring up the fact that Bruce has trauma. That was one of the things they brought up in the beginning of She-Hulk. I think they're going to have that in wanting to be a better father than his father, and break that cycle of abuse. I think that in this upcoming rumored film, I think he will go to therapy with Doc Samson, played by Ty Burrell, who played the character in the Incredible Hulk film, and I think it's gonna be reliving his trauma to get through it is gonna be too much for him, and that's gonna be what brings the real Hulk back out. And then having that the real Hulk goes on a rampage at age, maybe goes to find his father and kill him, and then in the end he has to be defeated / calmed down by the Hulk family, like having Doc Samson there, have She-Hulk there, have Scar there, and they will get a fight sequence between the Hulks, but then them trying to calm him down.
Ooh. Okay, I kind of like that. Yeah, that would. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah.
Because I feel like there has to there has to be a reason that they brought Scar in. And I feel that, so I think that it's got to be something surrounding him not wanting to become like his father, and so he goes to therapy, but it goes wrong.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't say perfect all the time. The Hulk's got to come back at some point. Yeah. But to see all the Hulks, because by then we have this movie, we'll have the Red Hulk already, which is going to be General Ross. Or, sorry, is it...
President Ross now.
I was going to say, it's President Ross, because he's going to be president in the next Captain America movie. Yeah. Which I'm kind of high-key excited for, that they're finally going to give us the Red Hulk. I wonder how they're going to do it, how that's going to play out. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited, because I like the Red Hulk. And... Which
part of me feels like he could be among the Hulk family for something like this. It's just because it would be cool to see him fighting against Hulk. But another part of me is just like, maybe he's not a good person to be there to help calm down Hulk in this situation. Somebody who's hated Hulk for his whole life. I don't know.
That's fair. What are your thoughts on, just in general, Betty Ross?
I like her, and like I know there have been a lot of criticism about the character in the Incredible Hulk film, but I honestly enjoy Liv Tyler's performance as her, and I just like the character in general. She seems like a fun character, and a character that can have a lot of substance if they're willing to give it to her, or sadly sometimes they aren't willing to give it to her, and she just feels like a stereotypical love interest. But then there are other times where they'll do something really cool with her, like I mentioned earlier, of how in some comics having her be at a suicide hotline, dispelling myths about AIDS. I think. If you do her right, she can be a really good character.
Yeah. What are your thoughts of her as Red She-Hulk?
I haven't read any of her comics where she turns into Red She-Hulk, so I don't have much thoughts, but I like the look.
Right? Because I'm wondering if they're actually going to turn her into Red She-Hulk after they make her father Red Hulk, or they're gonna make her to Harpy, because she becomes this weird Harpy, Hulk-like, and then Red She-Hulk, and then as of like 2018, she's known as Red Harpy, which is kind of a combination of the two. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her in the MCU, because Betty Ross has not been around for a hot minute since the original movie, so.
I feel like something like that could end up being the post-credit scene of the next Captain America film, having her turn into Red She-Hulk.
Yes. What is your favorite villain of Hulk's?
Ooh.
In this whole roster.
I think the main two that I'd have to go with are either General Ross or the leader. I really enjoy both of them. The leader, I mainly enjoy him just because of his role in the Hulk and the Agents of Smash animated TV show. He's a recurring villain in it, and he's so much fun mainly because of this the voice that gave him. We has this this I'm fancy sort of voice, and I just love that so much.
Oh yes, I love what they did with him in the She-Hulk series. It's so good. He's rehabilitated, but he still has like the
I meant and the leader, not Abomination. I was talking about the leader.
Oh, the leader. Oh, yeah. Sorry, my mind was somewhere else.
That's all right. I like Abomination too, but yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Is there anything else to talk about with the Hulk? What's your favorite movie with the Hulk in it?
It's either gotta be the first Avengers film or Thor Ragnarok. I love both of those so much.
Ooh, Thor Ragnarok's a good one.
I think I gotta go with the first Avengers film because it has some of my favorite Hulk moments in the entire MCU. Oh, he's just so much fun in that film. Like you really feel for him, and feel happy for him when Captain America tells him to smash, because this is the first time ever that Hulk has been told someone needs you to do the thing that he loves to do. Like, that's such a cool thing to me. And then you also have in that film, like, that's my secret cap. I'm always angry, and when he's smashing Loki and saying, "Puny God," I just love him in the first Avengers film so much.
No, same. I think that was probably my favorite one too, with Ragnarok being close behind, because it captures Hulk in a very real way. Like it's the best interpretation that they have of Hulk. When they started bringing him more into the MCU, as far as the films go.
It's so powerful, his appearance in Thor Ragnarok. Like, you really get to feel for him and how he has a great point for why he's upset at the Avengers. They just use him as a tool, and I think that's and a lot of people can feel this, that some of their friends will only use them as a tool and not actually want to be friends with them, and I think that works just so well for the character.
Yeah. And I also find it funny as far as with the Avengers films, Age of Ultron. Bruce Banner helped create Ultron, but everyone blames Tony for it, then Bruce and Tony, which I find interesting. Why? I understand why they blame Tony, but like Bruce created him as well.
The thing is fans like to ignore Bruce's involvement in things a lot. Not just in when he's done something negative like that, but with Avengers Endgame, people act like Tony Stark is the big hero of that film. He sacrificed himself to save everyone. Actually, it was Bruce who brought everybody back. Bruce should get at least a bit of that praise, but most people only give it to Tony. It's whether it's good or bad. People focus on the Tony aspect, not the Bruce one.
Yeah, because I agree. Because sure, Tony sacrificed himself to defeat Thanos. Yes, he did that. I'm not going to discredit that. But Hulk brought everyone back.
If I'm being honest, I feel like that's kind of a bigger thing than what Tony did.
Yeah.
I know Tony would feel like it was a bigger thing because he brought Peter back.
Yeah,
I don't think Tony would be like I'm the one who sacrificed myself and died from it, and so I'm better than him. No, I think he would be like, this man brought back my friends. That's just yeah.
Yeah, and brought back the boy that I looked at as my son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the Hulk needs more love. Needs more love from the fan base, just in general.
Like, so many fans seem to think that the scene at the beginning of Infinity War was meant to show how weak Hulk is. No, it was to show how strong Thanos is with the gauntlet.
Exactly.
That's those are very different things. And so a lot of Hulk fans blame the Russos for ruining the character. It's like, no, they wanted to show how strong Thanos is, but they also made a point to show how strong Hulk is by having him be the person who brought everyone back.
Exactly. Because if it wasn't for the fact that he was in his Hulk form, he wouldn't have survived that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that saved him. Fucked up his arm, but that's the only thing that saved him. Was the fact of he was the Hulk.
Yeah, dude. And I think everybody can agree it was a smart choice to not have drunken Thor be the one who brings people back.
Hey, Thor was going through it, okay? He was going through a heavy depression.
Yes, yes, and I understand that. And I'm just saying, I don't think I don't think Thor's probably strong enough that he would have survived it, but also
that's fair.
He was not he was not in sound enough mind that he would have thought to not only bring people back, but let's bring them back in a way where they're going to be safe when they're brought back.
Yeah.
And because I think one of the big reasons why it was important for it to be a really smart person who brought people back is situations where like people were in planes or something. Because if you don't have someone who's able to on the moment be like put them on the ground, then there's gonna be so many deaths.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think this could be a good stop. But any final words on the topic of the Hulk?
Smash!
Yes. So, thank you, John, for joining me on today's episode of The Incredible Hulk, aka Bruce Banner.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. And of course, if you look in the description below, you'll see all the links to his Twitter as well as his podcast if you want to go to listen to him over there. I am on one of the episodes of his podcast talking about the Babysitter series of Netflix horror films. So go check that out. But again, thank you for joining me today on today's episode, and thank you all for listening, and catch me next time with a new guest talking about something else. Until then, bye.